Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, guys. Celtic Warband here, and thanks for tuning in to another how to install video on the channel today. This one is here by popular demand. I've received quite a number of comments asking if I can do an updated version of my how to install video for Napoleon Total War 3 version 7.6, but there is a version 8.0 out now, and they've actually also released an 8.1 patch, which I will be covering in the video as well. But this is actually a decently easy mod to install because I've obviously tried it beforehand just to make sure I know the proper steps to take to get it to work. But as you guys can see, there are quite a few packs that have been released. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 packs. Now, you guys don't need to download all of these packs for it to work. I did see in the comments section that you only need the core file and the maps file for it to work. However, there is a separate campaigns file which you can add to, I believe there's 4 playable campaigns that are added into the game. And of course the patch we will be downloading as well. And then we've got the hardcore mode, the themes file, and the army builds file, which are all extras, like they're not required to play the game. However, I'm going to install all of these in the tutorial, and I kind of recommend that you guys do install all 7 of the files as well, because I don't know if someone who has the core file and maps file installed and they tried to play an online battle with someone who has all 7 of them installed, I'm not sure if they'll be compatible versions. So that might be something that I would recommend everyone to do, is to just install all 7, and then that way we all know that we're using the same version of the game. And the last thing that I really need you guys to do, and if you haven't done this, go ahead and pause the video and do this first, is you need to delete the previous version of 7.6 of Napoleon Total War 3, and I also recommend that you completely reinstall your vanilla Napoleon Total War as well, because that way we know we have a complete fresh version to build on. Now, when you guys are uninstalling Napoleon Total War, for Steam users, all you really have to do is right-click on it in your Steam library and click uninstall, but there is another hidden folder that saves caked game data, so that when you do reinstall it, a lot of times some overwritten mod files will be remaining. So people who have the Great War mod downloaded over top of vanilla Napoleon and they uninstall it and reinstall Napoleon, they still have those Great War files there. So I'm going to show you guys really quickly where to find that file. So all you have to do is to locate your main drive, in this case the local C drive, and then you're going to go to users here and double click on that, and then just whatever your PC name is, so this is Celtic for mine, but you guys will probably have a different PC name, and then you're going to go to this app data folder. Now if this app data folder does not show up for you, just go to the top where the view tab is and just make sure to select hidden items, because you can see when I get rid of the hidden items, app data does not show up. So click view, hidden items, and then go to app data, and then roaming, and then down to creative assembly, and then here is the Napoleon folder. This is the one that we had to delete because this saves a lot of the caked game data, and it's some of the files are overwritten by mods when you do install them. So some Napoleon Total War 3 7.6 files may end up in this Napoleon folder. So go ahead and pause the video, uninstall your Napoleon, delete this and any other mods you might have for Napoleon Total War, and then reinstall it and then start the video again. It's going to save you a lot of headache when installing this mod. But once that is all finished, then we can start going about downloading all of these mod packs. So I've got them all open here. Basically, you just have to click on them to open the file. And then, again, I always recommend you confirm these file sizes because we'll want to look at those later and make sure that they are the correct file size. But as I said, we need the core file 8.0 and the maps file as well. And then the campaigns as well, which is 1.21 gigabytes. It's a decent file size, but as I said, it does add 4 playable campaigns into the game. And then we've got the patch, the hardcore mode, the themes file, and the army builds file. And the themes file is actually a really neat one. It gives you the choice of selecting a main backdrop theme for when you launch Napoleon Total War 3, and each of them is unique to a different faction, so that's a nice touch. But all you have to do is go ahead and click download now. And for those of you guys that have never watched my previous how to install videos, I always recommend that you download these using Chrome. I've had some of the mod files when you do try to download them on Internet Explorer or Mozilla Firefox, it does not work. So I recommend you download Chrome, and you should start to see them pop down into the bottom hand section here. And I've got a little one in parentheses here, meaning that I've already downloaded this. So I'm going to go ahead and cancel that. And go ahead and pause the video and download all of these files. And when you're finished, we will pick it back up. But after you're finished all of that, we can go ahead and minimize this here. And we're going to go back into our downloads folder. And this is where all of our pack files are going to be. And it is going to be a bit tedious, but we are going to have to install each one of these separately. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with the 8.0 core pack first, because that is the building block for all of these other packs to work. So we're going to go ahead and double click on it. And it should load up. Do you want to download? I say yes. And it's going to ask for English. It does have a few different languages for those of you guys that do not speak English. So go ahead and click OK. And the nice thing about this is that it actually finds usually the default settings for where your Napoleon Total War would be installed, but this is only if it's installed on your main drive, or usually your C drive. But I don't have it installed here, so if you do have it on your C drive, then it doesn't matter. You don't have to change any of this. You can go ahead and just click next. But for me, I've got to change it because mine's on my D drive, which is my larger hard drive. Steam games, Steam apps, common, and then a lot of people will click common and then click on Napoleon Total War. Where are you? You're down here. But what happens when you do that is that you're actually doubling the folder. You can see that it's putting it inside your Napoleon Total War folder. You don't actually want that. You only want to install it into the common folder, and basically what it does is it overwrites Napoleon Total War with the Napoleon Total War 3 files. So we actually don't want to do that. So let's go ahead and step back a bit. Steam apps, common, and then it already drops the Napoleon Total War. So can go ahead and click next here, and it's telling me that it already exists. Do you want to overwrite anyways? And you say yes. And go ahead and make a desktop shortcut for the 8.0 version as well, because that's what we're going to use to launch it and install. And this doesn't take very long. It takes only 3 or 4 minutes, but I'm not going to bore you by letting you watch this entire thing, so we'll pick it back up once the downloads bar is almost complete. All right, so this file is almost complete. There we are. So just go ahead and click finished, and there we go. It has loaded the Napoleon Total War 3 version 8.0 shortcut for us. And the next one we're going to do is the maps, because this one is also required for it to run. Again, you can see the map size 966 megabytes there. And then if I come over here to the map file, it's exactly right. I really recommend that you guys check that out, because 9 times out of 10 when people comment saying that it's not working or it's missing files, it's because it's too small. So this, again, our core file 815. So if we go over here to the core file, 815. So it matches perfectly. So let's go ahead and double click on the map section. And again, we're literally going to have to do this 7 times for it to all download. But again, it's just going to drop the default folder, but again, I have to change mine. If you guys don't, you can go ahead and click Start. Okay, and Next, and Yes, Overwrite, and Install. And we're going to let this one do the same thing, and we'll pick it back up once it's finished. And there we go. So that one's finished too, so we can go ahead and click Finish. And technically, those are the only 2 files you need for it to work. But as I said, I really recommend that you guys go and download all these other packs so that everyone does have the same version. Or if one of you guys wants to test it, and can leave a comment down below saying, oh, it doesn't matter, we all have different some have downloaded just the 2, and others have downloaded all 7, and we can play online, then I'll just pin your comment so that everybody knows. But I haven't been able to test that. But the next one that probably people will want is the campaigns one, and I think this is the biggest one, 1.21 gigabytes. And 1.21 gigabytes, so we know that one is good. So same process as before. Double click on it. And it's going to ask for the same thing, so same steps. There we go, and it should ask to overwrite. This is very huge, guys. Make sure that you always see the overwrite thing, because if you don't see this, it means you're downloading the files into a separate location, which is definitely not what you want to do. Make sure it's always overwriting. So go ahead and click yes and install. And this one will take, I think, the longest, because it is the biggest. It will take 2 or 3 minutes for it to be completely done. And there we go. So that one's finished. So we've done the core, we've done the maps, and the campaigns. So now we're just going to do the builds, themes, hardcore, and patch. And these ones are quite small, so it shouldn't really take too long to download them. Exact same steps as before. Oh, and for those of you guys that have Napoleon Total War and it's a non-Steam version, the pathway, if I just cancel out of this, the pathway should read something like this. Where's my backslash? There we go. Sega, and then I don't think it's Creative Assembly. I think it's just Sega Napoleon Total War. Something like that. That's where your pathway would look. Because you can see there's a Sega folder here, because I used to have the old Medieval 2 Gold Edition version. So it's actually a Sega folder. It's not the Steam games, Steam apps, common, blah, 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 blah. Because that's really only for Steam users, that pathway. And I'd assume for cracked copies, it would be the same thing. So wherever you did download your Napoleon Total War, you just need to find that pathway and then just make sure to follow the browse. Or just hit browse and then follow the pathway until you reach Napoleon Total War. And again, make sure this always pops up. But install here. Yeah, very fast for the builds. I think we can do the hardcore mode next. Some of these did pop up for me as issues as well, saying, you know, that they wanted to protect the PC. But if you just click additional details and hit run anyway, that it usually is fine. So, yep, same pathway as before. Steam apps, common. Oh, yeah, that's it. Common. That's all I wanted to do. Good, good. Overwrite, yes, and install. Again, very fast. And we've got 2 more to do, the themes. And same thing. Again, it's a little monotonous, but I think that they have released it this way just to speed up the uploading of files, so it's not all together. So they could just upload it as they finished it. Install. And yeah, the themes were a little bit of a bigger one, so this might take 2 or 3 minutes to complete itself. And just about complete now. There we go. And the last one we have to do is the patch. So we can go ahead and launch that. And then this one will ask to do a desktop icon as well. And I am going to accept that. And I think you guys should too. And I'll show you the difference because they actually launch different things, which I'll get into in a little bit. So again, it's the exact same steps as before. And create a desktop shortcut. And again, pretty fast, so we won't have to do a cut on this. And finish. So that is everything. So now we've got both of them installed here. So when we launch version 8.0, it brings up the Napoleon Total War 3 version 8.0, and we have the option for classic battles, hardcore battles, and then we've got the 4 campaigns here, which is really nice. And it links to the Discord. They've got a guide and a forum as well. Here is where you can change your resolution. So mine's 1920 out of 1080. And because we downloaded the themes, this is the theme menu. So you can choose a faction for it to load in as, and they're all custom. It's really, really a nice feature. I really like that. But we'll just leave it on random theme for now. And this is an awesome feature, guys. I've actually tested this too. If you click on Restore Vanilla, it actually launches Vanilla Napoleon Total War, which I think is great. So that kind of mitigates the need for a mod manager, which again for version 7.6 was quite a few people commenting saying that they couldn't really find a working mod manager. But if you guys only use Napoleon Total War 3 version 8.0, then you won't need a mod manager, because if you want to play vanilla Napoleon, click this to restore the vanilla version, and it launches the vanilla version. I can join multiplayer battles. It works just fine. So that is an awesome feature. However, if you are wanting to get more mods like the Darth mod or the Great War mod or anything like that, then you probably will require a mod manager, because at that point you're juggling more than one mod. But that is good. So I'm going to exit that, because if you do launch version 8.1, you can see that it looks almost exactly the same, which is good. But if you do launch it through the patch and click Classic Battles and load in, it actually only loads the vanilla Napoleon factions. So that's why I wanted to show you guys that this does look exactly the same, but I would not recommend downloading version 8.1. If you do launch in, it doesn't bring up the 41 factions that are available for this mod. It just brings up the originals, and I just wanted to clear that up for you guys. So you guys can just delete that. Just hit the delete button and make sure that you always launch it through version 8.0. But I'm going to make a quick cut here, guys, because I have to switch over my recording software for launching the game, but I will see you in there. Alright guys, welcome back, and as you can see, Napoleon Total War 3 version 8.0 has launched successfully, and I'm just going to load into the single player to show you guys that all the factions are indeed there, as well as the maps. There are a ton of maps here. Really, really impressive to see how many they've added into the game. We're just going to pick this one here and click Start. And you can see that there are a ton of factions as well. All of them are there. It is not missing any of the names. And just look at the rosters in some of these factions. Just crazy. So much work has been put into this mod, and the main reason that I didn't play this mod so much is because of the mod manager headaches. I rather would just stick with vanilla Napoleon and not have to deal with it. But I think I might get into this now, since it's actually so easy to flip between the vanilla and the the base game and the mod. But let's just go ahead and load in with Napoleon Bonaparte. I'll just load a few units so you can see it there. And there we go. It is loaded in successfully. You can see nice cinematic battle camera, no crashing at all. Although you'll have to kind of test for yourselves how the multiplayer battles go, because I don't know, when you get into quite a large battles with multiple players, like a 4v4, you might have to reduce your graphics settings for the game to run properly. But I think that is it, guys. So thanks so much for watching the video. I really hope that it was useful for you. And please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you'd like to see more how to install videos on the channel. And if you have any troubles, just leave a comment down below, and I will try and help you out as best as I can. But until next time, guys, I'll see you in the next one.